Alright, welcome to my mess. This has been something slow in the making. This isn't Taj Mahal material. Of course, no one's getting buried in here either. This is just simply what I'm assembling for an enclosure. My wall's just plastic right now with a few studs to hold the frame. I got this wall studded in. I just did 2-foot centers. I started scrounging up some plywood. I've got access to a scrap heap that I'm going through and picking out what I can. So it's not wondrous. I might get enough of this to actually do the inside of everything after I get all the framing in. I'll have to get all the framing in, then I'll have to do horizontals for this to hang correctly, because I'm not going to lay it like that. I'm going to stand it up so the ribs, everything falls down and pressure wash. You can't see through the plastic, but right here I'll build a plenum to a fan that's up there. You can barely see the shadow. Plenum to a fan, I'll bring it down to ventilation right here that I can filter all my solids out. My intent, the Resner heater is over there. I want to put a 4-foot door here to come in and out and bring parts in and out. I will be closing this up and drawing it into 7 or 8 feet of door that I can swing, 2 doors like I had once upon a time, but all access is through that overhead. So you pull in, this is 14 by 22 or 24, I don't remember now. But this is what I've got so far. This is not a professional paint booth, this is just an enclosure to keep things tidy enough. Now I'll put intake either on there's going to be little walls and then the doors. So on these little stub walls or on this wall, I'll put intake somewhere in here. That's filtered in, so I trap all the dust and dirt from in the shop space. It'll exhaust over here, so I'm going to draw crosswise across the enclosure to try to draw everything out. What I've got for CFM, after I clean that fan up and tune it, should be more than adequate. So as you can see, this was a teardown bay for the junkyard that was here. This place is a mess. I'm not even pretending to try to spray anything in here right now. I got a lot of work to do. But I told you all, in lieu of the spirit of Enthusiast workshop, this is what I've got to work with. The total space here is right around 1,600 feet. And this is what I am going to spray my projects in. I'm a hobbyist, a somewhat professional hobbyist, but a hobbyist nonetheless. Not my compressor. That thing is antiquated, and I need to actually omit it from the line and run all new lines for myself once I get my equipment down here. So this being this. Now, before I had, and it's still really a hodgepodge and it's a mess, but I'm starting to organize this wall. Once I get this whole wall sheeted on the outside here, I'll put toolboxes and whatnot, and then on my bench space, which I'm going to limit actually my bench space. Bench space is going to go over here, so I can go straight up this tall wall with shelves for storage as needed, for pertinent storage. Because here I've only got 8 feet to go up. Over here I can hang some lights, and that'll be adequate for anything I need to deal with. I can hang a light over a bench. This is 9 feet of bench. This is it. This is all the flat bench space I'm going to have in the entirety of my shop when I'm done. Everything else is going to be shelves for items, whatnot, places to make a home for everything. That's my lead cart. It's got my files, my lead, my paste. It's got a pedestal over here for a grill propane tank. And I actually have a turbo torch, a plumber's turbo torch. It runs off propane. It works wonderfully for my lead work. This is a broke down. I probably just need to throw that particular box away. But it's got all my porta power stuff in it. So you can see I compartmentalize as I go along. But this bench will be over here, probably at the end of the run. I'm going to get it where I can pull all the shelves, bench tops, everything out of this space. I want this space dedicated strictly for work. I've got my welding table. I've got one of my rolling tool carts, and everything's a mess. I'm a hobbyist. I work evenings and weekends, so I just shit and get. I don't tidy up like I should. I don't organize, and I understand that. This is not my normal scope. But if I've got 2 hours, I'm not going to spend 2 hours tidying, cleaning everything up. I do that about once a month, where I put everything away, twice a month, where I put everything away and I have a sense of what's going on. You can see here the outside of this enclosure. This is kind of what I was here for, you know, the Enthusiast workshop idea. This is a good size space. You know, mind you, I was full-time self-employed. This is what I did. This is not my employment. This isn't how I eat. I've got responsibilities that I need to complete, and I want to build my own stuff. And I've got some old clients that still bring me work because they want me to do their work. But this is it in a nutshell. You build this to enclose the space because that fan will evacuate this 6 or 8 times, the air in this 6 or 8 times. That air volume will be replaced from air volume out here. This building's so leaky, I'm not worried about an air exchange. There's my heat. It'll draw that down. That'll kick on a little more than normal in the wintertime, still maintaining the temperature in here and over here, versus just kicking on that fan and letting that blow. That runs almost constantly if you just kick that fan on, and it draws all the air out of the whole shop. So it's math I don't quite understand how to show you the arithmetic of it, but that's how it works. You're drawing the air in here from out there that's heated, and it'll exchange this air multiple times out that fan, where it'll only exchange this air once. And that's the idea. You want to slow that exchange rate of the main space, but it has to come from somewhere. Again, this building is so open, it's got plenty to draw from. But this gives you an idea. This is going to give me something I can pressure wash off and so forth. That's it. That gives you an idea of what I'm establishing, so I can do a clean paint job. You can paint out here as a hobbyist, but everything you do is going to have to be cut and buffed. Now, if your skill set dictates you have to cut and buff everything, who cares? Just paint it right there. Just ventilate and make it safe. This is going to allow me to work out here while I got paint curing in here, which is relevant to my needs. So it's not a paint booth. It's just an enclosure, something to filter dust in, filter solids out, so I'm not being a complete heel, and give me a clean environment to spray in. It's not a paint booth. This is just an enclosure I'm doing for my own personal want. If I was a professional running a shop, this doesn't pretend to fly. This is not okay in any way, shape, or form at a professional level.